Right, hello. Got a few hours today, so I'm going to try and continue on with a little bit more of our mobile site development. So let's just jump over screens, and we can probably get rid of that timer there and the starting scene. Cool. Right, so yesterday we started playing around with a project that we're trying to build, this mobile site here. So we've got a few different pages of content. We've got lots of different styles of items on the pages, and we're going to just start with the mobile view, and then once we've got that up and running, we're going to build it out into the full-on desktop view. And what did I just do? Move that around. So yesterday we were mostly just setting up our initial view of the site. Let's just see if we go back to the home page. Right, it's just starting up the server, so it's a little bit slow. Okay, so this we want to leave. Actually, yeah, we can leave it like this. Right, so eventually it's going to be looking something like this, and it's also going to have a light mode as well that we need to add in. So far we've got some bits of content on the home page, some images, a little bit of the footer, and then we started playing around a bit with the nav bar, but it's still early days with that as well. But yeah, just basically in a standard svelte structured project. We've got a few other pages that we've got to set up. I'm not sure if story seems to be picking up some other icon. I want to make sure that that's not going to affect. I think it shouldn't. It should just be. I'm assuming there's some like story blocks or something like that. That it thinks that folder should be. But that's all okay. So I've got a few hours today. I'm probably going to continue on with the nav bar. I want to look into making like a proper hamburger menu, and then we'll see how we're getting on. But I think I want to start looking at these like hexagonal shaped picture holders and icon holders, and also for the like hexagon on the menu here. Just something to play around a little bit with. But to start with today, I just feel like playing a couple of games. So we've got Diffle and SvelteKit on Gamedle. We haven't played any of these before. I'm gonna be playing through a couple of these, just as a little warm up. So Diffle is Wordle, but the word length can vary. So it's not just, what's Wordle normally? 5-letter words. So let's start with what would be a good starting word? Let's go with welcome. Okay, so we have an L, an O, and an M. The M is in the wrong place. The L and the O come in that order, but there might be other letters in between. It might all be together. So, and there's no E, okay. So I've always found the first few words difficult in this. Especially because I like to play where you have to use the clues that you've got so far. So we'll see how we do with this. L-O. So M-L-O, something in that kind of format. Or L-M-O. There's no E, so it's not like lemon. God, this is going to be a tricky one, isn't it? M and M, and then L-O. What can the M? The M could still be... The M has to at least come before the O, that's all. Limo, something like that. Limo. I know there's no E. No, that's the L and the O the wrong way around. Keep on thinking of words like glutton and but we haven't got an M. How about... No, there's no E either. There's no E, so... Okay, we might have to ignore our plan to only well, to use all of our previous clues. Actually, we could just go with like loam. Doesn't really give us anything. The M's still in the wrong place, right? Gloam? By gloam. Oh, okay, that's good. Starts with GL. There's an AM together somewhere. So, glamour? That was a very lucky second guess. We knew that the AM were together. We knew that the O came after. So yeah, very lucky with that. Nice, easy one of the... Well, I think we were quite lucky with our guesses there. Right, Cine to Nerdle. There's a new logical one. Let's try that one. I don't know how good this is going to go. Let's zoom in a little bit on this because I think it's quite hard to see these clues, isn't it? What does that look like? Can you see that on screen? Yeah, it's kind of enough. But I'll read them out anyway as well. Right, so organise the tiles according to the logic below. Movies with Matt Damon are in the same column. Movies with Timothée Chalamet are in opposite corners. Okay, any of that help for me? I know June's Timothy Chalamet, so that's got to be a corner one. What else is he in? I'm not sure I know. Matt Damon's The Martian. And was he in Interstellar? I think he was. In the same column, so let's put him in. Any other Matt Damon? Annihilation, Arrival, wasn't Matt Damon? No. I don't think any of the others are Matt Damon that I can think of. Okay, the 3 highest grossing movies and the 3 highest grossing movies and 3 movies starring Michael Caine are in row 4. What's going to be highest grossing? It's probably Interstellar, Avatar. Inception's probably quite likely. Which of these films has Michael Caine in it? Interstellar definitely does. So that I'm confident Interstellar has to be at the bottom on row 4. Inception? Does Inception have? I feel like it's a kind of film that would have Michael Caine in. I can't remember. It's been ages since I've seen it. What else is he in? He's not in Edge of Tomorrow. He's not in Ex Machina. I don't think I've seen Deja Vu. I don't think he's in Annihilation. Is he in Arrival? I could imagine him being in Arrival. All Denis Villeneuve movies are adjacent. That doesn't mean anything to me, unfortunately. All Christopher Nolan movies are adjacent, including diagonally of each other. Okay, so we know... Nolan did Tenet, Inception, Arrival, right? And maybe Interstellar. Movies with Oscar Isaac. Oh, sorry. The main character in all movies in column 3 is non-human or becomes non-human. Okay, so the main character in column 3, Blade Runner is a good idea for that. District 9 probably has to be in this column. Annihilation, does she become non-human at the end of that? I mean, you could argue Source Code is non-human. Martian's still human. Avatar. Okay, we probably want Avatar here then. Let's put Tenet across here. Maybe put Source Code there. Edge of Tomorrow. I mean, he gets the like alien restart time ability. Are they human in June? I mean, that's got to be in a corner anyway, so that doesn't matter. Ex Machina over which one of these? Over Source Code, I guess. Depends who you believe, who's the main character in Ex Machina. It's the journalist, or if it's the robot. Movies with Oscar Isaac are on the same diagonal. Which again, I think he's in June, isn't he? Source Code is directly below another time loop movie. So, Edge of Tomorrow. Let's try this and see. We got 5 checks, so we'll give this a go. I think there's going to be a lot of mistakes in this. Okay, not as bad as I thought. So June's not in this corner. Avatar, that's fine. Let's put June down here. Oh, we got this right. So we've got the right films in this column, but we haven't got them in the right order. So Ex Machina's got to be here to be on a diagonal. And let's swap District 9 and Blade Runner. Let's put Dune at the top there, actually. Minority Report is got to go somewhere else. And Arrival. Yeah, if I knew Denis Villeneuve movies, that would help. I don't know if I've swapped everything that is in the wrong place, but maybe let's just swap these two over. Right, let's go for that. Oh, a few more. So yeah, I think it's just the Denis Villeneuve clue that's really throwing me off here. All movies with Matt Damon are in the same column. Oh, we should know that now. Where? What were the two we picked out? We picked out The Martian. What else is he in? Is he in some of these? Is he in Minority Report? I don't remember him being it. Is he in Tenet? Oh, we think he's in Interstellar, isn't he? So Martian there. Let's swap these two. We'll give that a go. Okay, so Martian at the top. Have we tried Annihilation here? And Deja Vu there? Let's try that. That looks like we got it. Nice. So let's see, what was it, Denis Villeneuve? Can I... Oh, I can't select this clip. Dune, Blade Runner, Arrival. Right, okay. That could have helped. Martian... Is he in Deja Vu then? Oh no, it's only movies with Matt Damon. So it's not... They're not all movies. So Timothy Chalamet is in Interstellar apparently. Nice, okay. We've got a couple of others in here. Let's do the original for today. So the way this works is we get another grid and there are 5 sets of 4 in this grid that have like links. So are these all movies? Oh no, these are all just clues towards them. Right, V and London and Mask and Revolution is going to be V for Vendetta. Friday. Do we have Mighty Ducks here? Hockey. Minnesota. Wet Hot. Is that Wet Hot American Summer? So it might be camp with that. Right, let's put Mighty Ducks in that column. Let's put V in this column. Okay. So we know this doesn't share anything with our V for Vendetta clue. What's going to be the cross clue? Oh, Friday night football. Is this going to be camp? No. Oh, hockey mask. We've got Jason Voorhees here. Right, okay, so we're gonna have Friday hockey mask. No. And camp, right? Yeah, okay. So then wet and hot. That's V. And that's our Friday Night Lights. There we go. Mighty Ducks. So Mighty Hockey, Duck in Minnesota. Friday Night Lights. Got V for Vendetta. Wet Hot American Summer. And Friday the 13th. Nice. That wasn't too bad. Last one, reversal. And then we give the Gamedle a little try. The reversal gives us... Wait, what's the difference between reversal? How to play. Reversal is there are 5 hidden themes in each group. Each theme is represented by 4 movies. Okay. So these aren't all movie names, right? These are all the catchphrases. Oh God, this is gonna be tough, isn't it? Stanley's and Emma, King of the World. Okay, so maybe it's who's saying it. This is going to be a tough one. Never played. You have my curiosity now. You know. I don't know most of these. I think this is DiCaprio saying these two, and De Niro these two. So De Niro's that one as well, right? No. No, this is it's not De Niro. This is The Shining. This is Nicholson. And so is that one. Okay, so we need. We know that these two, I think, are together. A house that doesn't change. Oh God, this is not going well. No, I don't think we're going to get this one. No idea. I think I'm just going to move some around and see. Okay, so these three. Heavy lies the crown. This town is an owner. I must be crazy to be in a loony bin like this. Okay, so we've definitely got DiCaprio in this column, right? So what am I missing? I don't know what the last one's going to be. Right, Jack Nicholson. Right, okay. I'm sure... No, that's De Niro, right. This is... Yeah, DiCaprio. There we go. That's De Niro. Now, what's the... Oh, the Daniel Day-Lewis quotes. So what's the common link across? King, crown. Bullets. No. What's our cross clue here? House, town, world. No. Let's just swap a few around and see if anything matches. Okay, I can't figure out what it is. I'm alone. I'm not alone. I don't think we're going to get one swap left. Right, what's the cross clue? Oh, Scorsese. Right, okay. Never was going to get that. I mean, it would be good if they showed us the films as well, but yeah, that was a tough one. Right, last few bits, and then we'll get on with our website building. So let's have a quick look at the Gamedles. We'll work up to the guess because that's always the toughest. So let's try and start with the classic then. So you get given a video game cover. You have to guess what it is, but I already know what this is. This is what's it called? Inscription. I was thinking Inception. I was like, Inscription. I recognise that. Nice. Okay. On to the artwork ones next, I think. Okay, well, this has got to be Mario Maker. Mario Maker. Is this 2? This is probably 2. Yep. Keywords. These are normally, I find these normally a lot harder. Okay, so Go-Karting Bots sequel, Turtle and Monkey. Is this not like a Mario Kart? Let's go with what's going to be a good middle of the road one. Let's say Double Dash. Okay, correct saga. It is a racing game. It is a Mario Kart game. Trophies, crossover, explosion, ice stage, retro achievements. These can all apply to any Mario Kart. What did we guess first? Double Dash. Okay, let's go for 64. Yeah. Okay, so just the guess left. I normally find these a lot harder, but I guess we've just been lucky. Okay, oh yeah, I did already start on this. So I've guessed Minecraft so far. So with guess, you have to guess a game, and then it will tell you all of these topics. If it's red, nothing is correct. If it's yellow, one of the things could be correct. It's like one or more of these are correct, but it's not exactly right. And if it's green, you've got it exactly right. So we know the game that we're trying to guess is not on any of these platforms, which does actually limit quite a lot. It's neither an adventure game or a simulator. It's not fantasy, survival, sandbox, kids, or open world, and it was released before 2011. It could be first or third person. It's probably unlikely to be virtual reality pre-2011, and it's not in the Minecraft saga. So old games, we're looking at old consoles as well. Let's think of some kind of like old shooter. Pre-2011. Maybe let's look at GoldenEye. Oh, GoldenEye. Okay, so it is a shooter. That's good, and it's first-person shooter. Not on N64, and it's later than that. So we're looking at GameCube, PS2 era, I think. Let's look at a first-person shooter that's not on Windows, not on PC. I don't know what I'd probably go for here. Are there any Xbox? Because I think it's more likely to be a PlayStation shooter. Because Xbox tended to release on PC as well, didn't it? So a PlayStation first-person shooter. This is where it would have helped to have played any of these games. What were PlayStation exclusives? We might have to take a clue pretty soon, which we should get at some point. Is Army of Two? No, that's not coming up. Let's just check it wasn't waiting to load. No, okay. What else is PlayStation? GTA? Grand Theft Auto. One that didn't come onto PC. So maybe 3? Let's guess that. Okay, so it wasn't PS2. It's not Xbox. I mean, I moved away from GameCube. Let's just check it's not like Nintendo Wii. Metroid... Was it Metroid Prime? Or Fusion? Fusion, I think, was the one that was on the Wii, wasn't it? It's not just single player. No, okay, that's not the one I was thinking of. God, this is going to be tough for me. Let's just look for like... no, Gears of War's not a good one. Call of Duty... Let's look at Modern Warfare, because I think that's around about the right year. I know it's going to be the wrong platforms, but... Oh, it's still earlier... It's still later than... Modern Warfare. And one of these is correct. So it's not Windows, it's not... Oh, it could be DS. Don't think it's... Oh, it could be PS3. Could be 360. Maybe we're looking at a Halo. Halo 4? It's not sci-fi warfare. It's not PC. Okay, it's Xbox 360 game. It's definitely an Xbox 360 game. It's a shooter. It didn't go onto PC, and it's a first-person shooter. I'm going to take our clue. On the Frostbite engine, which is like Crysis, right? But that went onto PlayStation. It went onto PC. What else was Frostbite? Oh, what was that Arctic? It was like a winter-themed co-op game on Xbox. With like big monsters, wasn't it? I think that was on the Frostbite engine. I mean, it's let's just check that it's not Crysis Warhead or something. I don't know when any of these are out. Crysis 2, I think, is older. Crysis 3 might be around the right time. Single player, multiplayer, Xbox 360. Oh, we knew it wasn't Crysis because it's not sci-fi. We haven't got the genre right at all. Oh, that's the CryEngine, not Frostbite. What was the Frostbite engine? Was that Battlefield then? But they all came out on PC, I thought. Oh. Nice. 2008. Cool, okay, not too bad. Right, enough of that though. We're gonna continue on with our website now. So, where we got up to? What I want to do is I want to have a look at how SVG elements are made, because I think what we want to do with our hamburger is have 3 lines as SVGs in there. So this button content, we want to add in the SVGs here. So let's do closing tag here and then open button. Ooh. And wait, we want this. Hey, how's it going, Rinks? So in here, we're probably going to do our SVGs, but I don't know how to do these properly. So, is it going to let me save that? Okay, it's gone all weird because it's doing stretches, just finished working out. Nice. Keeping active. I need to do more exercise. I always find in summer the amount of exercise I do just completely drops off. It's too hot for me. Right, so this is done. Our SVG is massive. We don't want that, but we need to put in the details of it. You do a very small workout. Fair enough, yeah. Right, how SVGs. Right, SVG tutorial. Let's have a quick look here. You're a hermit and it's your way to not be totally sedentary. Yeah, I think it's difficult when you work from home. Like the amount of time I spend at my desk and on my computer, definitely need to make sure I've got like other activities to keep me a little bit mobile. But I cycle quite a bit when I'm going around London, so that helps out. There's loads of cycle lanes everywhere, so it's so easy to get around. And London's so flat as well. Okay, sailor graphics. SVG and HTML. Let's have a look. You're afraid of cars when you cycle. Yeah, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking. But yeah, most of the places I cycle around London, we've got dedicated cycle lanes, and for a lot of it, they're not even like, they're separate from the road entirely. There's like there's either pathways in between or like pavement in between, so it's nice and safe. Okay, I want to know lines. This was the line element that I was thinking of. Right, okay. I was trying to just do a line element yesterday. I didn't realize it has to be in the SVG. Right, okay, so we're in here. We're going to have, let's say a height of like 5 pixels. A width of something like 30 pixels. You don't cycle when you're older, but it didn't cycle much after that. Moving to Japan, tried to cycle but still very wobbly, so being next to cars and pedestrians scares me. Yeah, I think that's fair. It's well, I suppose once you've, I mean, when I moved to London, I had a couple of years where I wasn't cycling at all. And similar, like when I was at uni in Bristol, I did a fair amount of cycling around there. That's really hilly. But yeah, after a couple of years in London of not cycling, I was a bit nervous about going back into busy traffic. But I think it helped with the all the lockdowns during COVID, that going out for a cycle was like absolutely every road was pretty much empty because no one was going anywhere. So I got more confident cycling around first, and then as it started getting busier and busier, it's like, oh, it's okay now. So it's quite lucky all that timing. Right, line X1. Let's just plot out this to start with. A 0, Y1, 0. Yeah, definitely missed the the lower amounts of traffic and crowds, like you're saying. But I guess the way around that is to move to somewhere that's not as highly populated. I might move out of London at some point in the near future, but we'll see. X we want to increase, and Y2 we're going to keep the same. Let's see. And then style, we need a style tag. Oh, style. Just going to be stroke, RGB. I guess we're setting the color there. I think for this we just want to, these are just this off color, aren't they? Which is this color. Can I do this? And then, what was the other bit? Stroke width. do this slightly higher as well though. Let's do stroke width 4. And then we've got to close our line. Which we don't actually need a closing tag like that. We can just do slash. Which can say that, but the countryside can be pretty country. Even the midways. In some ways it's scarier with narrow roads. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of country lanes cycling is terrifying. I mean, for drivers and for cyclists, because you just turn around the corner, it's like, we're cyclists right there. Right, let's balance this out a little bit more. What's this closing? Don't think we need that. That looks better. Right, let's see how that's turned out. Do we have a single line? We kind of do. Right, so if we do 2 more lines, how does that work? They're all over the top of each other. So we're putting lines into here, into this SVG at the moment. So let's say if we do x, y equals 10 and y equals minus 10. Why is that changed color? And this going to y10 and y minus 10. No, why has that not worked? Let's see. Oh, they are where I'm expecting them to be. Why are they not showing up though? In an old place, there was a narrow one-way road that wasn't one way. Oh my god. A one-lane road that wasn't one way. So when the car going one way sees another car going the other, the one that's further in honks. And the other car waits until it gets to the part. Yeah. Yeah. So where I grew up, there was a lot of like country lanes around in the middle of nowhere in the countryside. And the amount of times that it's like, it comes down to being too narrow for 2 cars to go past. And just like every like mile or 2, or every like kilometre or so, there'd be like a little space basically in the hedgerows along the side of the road that you could pull into that would make it wide enough for cars to get past each other. but you'd have to be lucky to like have one of those nearby when you have a car coming the other way. So some of the times you have to like reverse back until you get to one of those. So yeah, being a cyclist on those kind of lanes is probably a lot more scary. So, oh, because our height is 5. That's why. So actually, where have we gone? We went here. Let's make this 30 by 30. So we've got a bit of a square. Now we've got our... we've got some lines there. So we've got one further down, and then one off the top of the screen. We don't need that now. It's getting a bit closer though. Let's do this as 20 instead. And I suppose rather than x equals 0, let's change these all to 5. And we want to go to x2 of 25. So that should span further across. And again, we want this one to be in the middle of the block, so this to be at 15. So let's do 23 and 7. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, wait, we've got a diagonal here. We didn't update this one. Okay, that's looking more like a hamburger. 5 to 25. So let's make these a little bit narrower. Let's do 3 on the width. Okay, now the next thing to look at is why is this not centered? So 40-40, this we want to put in the middle. Our button has some default padding that we want to get rid of, really. Where's it picking up? Just by Chrome's default padding. If instead we gave it, we did like a display flex on this, and then we centered the content. No, justify? Now, I think there's not enough space in this, that's why. So we don't need that on. And we want padding 0. We don't need a border either. So border 0. Okay, now we can do justify center. Okay, so now that's in the middle of the box, I think. So if we did increase the size of this box, that should stay in the middle. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So what's our styles here? I think it's if we just copy all of these. And this is on our hamburger here. Gonna get rid of this. Gonna bump these up to 60. And then here, because this is basically a 60 by 60 now. Actually, if we make this the same size as the hamburger, we won't need any of this flex stuff. We just need to make sure that there's no padding and no border. Let's do that. That should be the same. Yeah, and now we can place in the middle. So the very middle one, we're going to want an X, we're going to want a Y of 30. And then this, we're probably going to want from like 15 to 45 for all of the lines, right? That looks good. So actually, if we just copy this 3 times instead, and we'll get rid of these other 2. Right, and then what we want to do instead, we want to set this to, let's say 40 and 20. So then we should have a decent looking hamburger. That looks good. So really here, instead of this X, we probably want a similar style. And actually, oh, no, don't want to do that. We want to do here, as both of these is targeted by this. So let's get rid of this. So now when we click here, are these the only buttons in this element? They are. So rather than this, we'll target button. And we'll bring this back with just the align cell flex end. So that should shift it across to the right. That's good. Okay, that open and closes. And all we need to do is within our close button, we're going to swap these lines. We're going to say, so line 1, we want to go from corner to corner. So 20 to 40. And this is going to go from 40 to 20. And where's this one going to go? I feel like we can do some interesting animation between the two. So, I mean, really, we want to make them a little bit taller than that. So 15 to 45. And then 45 to 15. And then for the moment, we're just going to get rid of that middle one. So we should get across, yeah. Probably shrink them down a little bit as well, because that won't be the same length of line, but that's not too important. Will be an interesting animation between those two. Can I just add in transitions here? I think I can. But it would make more sense to take this off into its own separate component. We'll have a look at that at a later point, because I feel like I could do hours on that. So the next thing I want to do is I want to figure out how to do hexagon shape, HTML. Let's just see what this comes up with. I want to make a simple hexagon, right? CSS hexagon tutorial. Let's have a look at some of these, because in a lot of our design, we've gone with like a hexagon based style. So this is a hexagon just off the edge of the screen and cropped. This would be here, this contact bit, just hidden behind the other items. We've got hexagons here, we've got hexagons in this. So there's a few of those around. Oh, don't want that, I want this one. So let's see if there's an easy way to do this. Oh, we're using before and afters. Okay. Right, hexagon tutorial. Starting with a 100 pixel square with 30 pixel borders. You can change the color of each border. Yeah, okay. Now, if we drop the setting of height and explicitly set the width of the div to be 0. Okay. Drop the top border and make the left and right borders transparent. Okay, so really this is like a big solid bottom green border, and then it's also got a left and right borders that overlap where these blue and yellow are, but we're just setting them as transparent layers. Okay, so we've got like a middle square or rectangle, and then a top and bottom like that. Okay. This is quite interesting. Oh, that'd be cool. Is this Will Hardy? Yeah, it looks like it's William. Using before and after. Yeah, I could see that. Wait. What's this? This might be easier. Is this just a hexagon? Because that would be so useful. Let's dump it in. Where do we want it? We want it in a background to our button. Let's just put it separate to the button and see what it comes up with. Okay, so that is just a hexagon. So rather than that, we could just do a class equals hex. And then with our hex class, we want our background color teal. And what was it we were using? Color. Oh, it's the font color and font size, right. Actually, background color of teal is not going to do anything there. Right, and then what we want to do is have that underneath the SVG. So let's do that here in our inspect window, because that's probably going to be easier to play around with. So let's get rid of our background color and height and width. Let's set this to, oh no, transparent. Now the problem is this nav put the hex inside the button. And let's do a display. Do we want inline here? Maybe we don't want that. Maybe we want here a position relative. Why has that got rid of it? I didn't select that properly. Position. Can I not position relative a span? Is that something that it's getting rid of? Sure, it's got to be position. What if we do position absolute on this? Or static? I mean, I could move them around with margins, but I'd rather not. No, let's go back to this. Let's go back to get rid of this. And we want to add in a new display flex. Right, and then all we want to do is overlap everything, right? See if any of these. Okay, let's look it up. Okay. How do I want to do this? We want to align items on top of each other, CSS. How to stack elements in CSS. Let's have a look at this. We can use the position property. That I'm not a fan of doing that because we're going to put, yeah, very brittle. So position relative on the container. CSS grid, this is probably more what we want to do. Right, grid, template columns with one column and one row. I think that's what they're saying. So let's give that a go. So in our button here, I'm going to put our hex here. So let's play that in this. So we don't want flex, we want to refresh here to get rid of all of what we were doing here. Hard refresh. No, not needed. Okay, so in this button, we're going to go with display grid. We want this to be transparent. And these grids. Where's the SVG going? I don't see it at all. Does it disappear behind? Have we swapped the order of these? No. Okay. Right, so what did it say? Template. Grid template columns. Auto 1 frame. And we're going to do the same for rows. And actually maybe let's make this 60 pixels to match. Right, and then on the child nodes, what do we need? Grid area 1122. Don't know what that's doing. But let's see if it does anything. Apparently I didn't copy it. Grid area. And then maybe on the SVG we do the same. It doesn't appear to have worked. Ah, so that looks like it's working. Okay, that looks better. Right now, do I need any of this other stuff? Don't need that. Don't need that. I think I need the display grid for this. And then on these, can we get rid of this? No, we need that. So if we shift it left a bit, which would be like margin left minus 30 pixels, right? No? Why has that not worked? What did padding left? -10. Right, let's undo that. So right now we've got this nav here. And we want to move, I mean, ideally we just want to move this around, right? So maybe on here, let's do a margin of like -30 pixels. That's better. So that's top right, left, no, bottom left. So actually these should be 30. Oh, that's almost right. Oh, but then the margin's going to mess that up, isn't it? I mean, I could play around with these until it works properly, but that's not a good way to do it. Okay, let's maybe have a look at this one though. I guess it's going to be quite tricky though. Because this SVG, it's going to be difficult to figure out the size of this, because if we're doing it based on our font size, like if we set that to 60 pixels, that's not going to work. That's not. Because we end up with a, like, if we get rid of this as well. With a 60 pixel font size, we end up with this 50 by 90 element size. Yeah, there's definitely going to be a risk for different resolution. I mean, actually, if you do it in pixels, it'll be fixed. It won't scale at all. So normally that, as long as it's small objects, that shouldn't be an issue. But I'm more doing this to like place it correctly. But yeah, I don't really want to do it as this. I think I want to do it in the other method of making a CSS hex. Also, welcome in, Jansk. Or Jansk, maybe? Let me know if I'm butchering that. Sorry if that's the case. Oh, Yanks. Jansk. There we go. How's it going? I think we're going to give this a go. Let's see if that works better. I'm sure placing them on top of each other, there was it's made up, so not to worry. Trying to learn SvelteKit yourself. Ah, I see. Yeah, I've been like my last few streams, I was walking through the tutorial. So I think the last like 6 or 7, no, I think it was 6 streams. Started at the basic Svelte introduction and went through all of the lessons in the whole SvelteKit tutorial. If you haven't seen this tutorial, it's definitely a good starting point, but it's very long. Like, but yeah, I really like how how it's laid out and how it all works together. Yeah, I mean, I'd almost suggest ignoring the advanced felt section here, because a lot of the tutorial goes into like very specific use case stuff that it's probably just better off doing this basic svelte, doing the basic SvelteKit, and then just having a go. And if you get to something where it's like, oh, I want to see how I would do this. Yeah, the tweens are quite cool. But most of the time, that's just going to be like something to add on as like polish to a website. And the core bit of it, you can do without knowing all this stuff. I mean, the advanced SvelteKit wasn't as bad, but some of the lessons in here I thought were very, very specific use case. You haven't developed for 25 years, so you're kind of learning from scratch. I see. What is in you haven't done, you haven't got the background of HTML, CSS, JavaScript kind of stuff, or you haven't really got embedded into another JavaScript framework? Because you might be better off not having previous knowledge of like React and Angular that you don't have to like unlearn ideas from. But yeah, I've kind of studied computer science 25 years ago. We're doing mainly project management. Okay. Yeah, I guess the JavaScript world has come along quite a way over the last 25 years. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I did some web development and web design in my last role, but we were using this like configuration tool. So it's kind of like, I guess the closest thing is like a WordPress site generator, but specifically for the industry that I was working with. So I was there for about 4 years, and really we were doing lots of like jQuery stuff because that's the only way that we could interact with it. So I have some knowledge of like JavaScript and CSS, but over the last year I've been trying to do some web development and web design on my own, and I've basically been looking and doing learning how to use Figma, coming up with like designs, and now I've finally got to implementation stage. So I'm trying to brush up again on all the CSS and all the rest of it, and obviously all the SvelteKit side of things. I think it makes sense to do modern websites with SvelteKit, so trying my hand at it and seeing how it goes. But yeah, I suppose if we're not going to look at this hex unit, I think that's going to be harder to control. Whereas, what was the other option here? Well, this is separate. The way that they've done this one is separate these into 3 separate elements that are all tied together. Our project with front end for work is usually React with C# API and backend. So external design companies usually deliver in Figma. I see, yeah. Yeah, React. I suppose if you're gonna pick one of them, React is yeah, that's what they've got here. In terms of, well, it's 3 square boxes but the top and bottom boxes, we've got like border gradients that cut off the edges to make them into these triangles, which I think is the same idea here with the before and afters. Which I think is probably more what I want to go for. Yeah, we could do it in an SVG, which actually maybe isn't a bad idea. SVG Hexagon. It might be quite simple drawing a hexagon. Oh. You can just call it a polygon and give it enough points to make it a hexagon. You've done some stuff with your kids for using SVGs for maths examples. SVG, I think, is quite useful for this kind of thing. The only problem is I need to align them on top of each other, which shouldn't be difficult, right? I think I might go with this. Actually, even better, I can just put the hexagon inside the other SVG. I can just draw it out here. Oh no, that didn't copy. Okay, it's not copying. Why is it not copying? I can't copy from here. That's why. No. Why would you not let someone copy off of it? Here we go. Let's go this. That's allowed me to copy. Well, we'll get rid of that. Yeah, it wouldn't right click either. Let's I'm trying to right click there. Oh, they disabled right click on the whole site. Oh, I hate when... See that you can... Oh, didn't mean to do that. You can right click outside of this window, but... Oh, God, yeah. It's so annoying when sites do that. Okay, let's have a look at this though. So if we save this code with the SVG instead, let's get rid of... Hex class is fine to have. I think we want background color in this, but we'll leave it there for the moment. And all we need to do is make sure that these points fit within our 60 by 60. So where is this? Let's map these out a little bit. We've got 0, 150. Where's our example? So 0, 150 is this left one. I don't know why it's got a hover effect. Can I get rid of that? Let's get rid of this. Go on that. Right, okay. So 0, 150 is that point. And 300, 150 is the far point here. Yeah, so 0, 0 would be top left. But I want the rotated by, what's that, 45 degrees? No, it's not quite 45 degrees. It's probably 30 degrees, isn't it? So that the point is at the top. So similar to this. How have they done the points here? So we've got 110 by 300. Definitely doesn't need to be 300 in this. Can't type over it, can I? Let's just save this. We'll get our hexagon there, and then we can manipulate the points a bit easier in here. Right, so the first point we're going to want at kind of 0 and then a third of the way down. So instead of this 150, let's go with 20 or 15. Half height, 0 minus width. Quarter height width. 3/4 height. Oh, half height 0. Okay, yep. I think so. Let's just play around a little bit with it though. No, that doesn't set the colour of it. It might be fill. Yeah, there we go. Let's just bring these down to like within the grid space and see where they are. Let's do that as 55, 28. Okay, it's going to look a bit weird. So you're saying half height, which I mean the easier thing would be to do this. Okay, so the height at the moment is 30, half height and 0. Then width and a quarter height. So width is 60, quarter height is going to be 15. And then the width. So 0, no, just 60. Let's make this a different color for the moment so we can see it clearer. Okay, so we're starting from point 30, 0. So this is the starting point at the very top there. Which is right. That's a good starting point. Then that's a good secondary point, I think. Yeah, I think you're right at this. But I think this should be 60, 45, right? Oh, 45. And then 30, 60. And then we're going to do the inverse. So x0, 45, oh, 45. And 0, 15. I think that should, yeah. Okay, now can we can size it up. Well, actually, we're trying to make this shape anyway. So it's like the bottom half, well, slightly more, the bottom 2/3 of the hexagon. So actually it's easier. Can we cut across? There we go. Okay. So it might be easier to do a pentagon. And all we're doing instead is setting this point to 0, 0. And then the final point, not needed. .45. And then the secondary point is 60, 0. So that gives us that kind of shape. Can we put the lines on top of it? I don't know. Is it done in order like this? Yeah, okay. So it just draws lines on top of the shapes. So we set this to teal. We now don't need this on the background here at all. Let's make it transparent because I think it overflows over the top. So in this we've got a width of 60 and the lines here are a width of 37, which I think works for the rough guide that we've got here. And what size is this? This whole thing is 480. So we can do it sized based on screen size. Right? So 12.5 viewport width. I don't know if I can do stuff like this. Within the SVGs. I don't know if I can do... Oh wait, let's make sure we copy this before we lose this element. Good. And we're gonna cut it out of here. I'm gonna place it at the top here. We don't need this class name. That's just Svelte putting in its own styling. And actually, rather than have a class of hex that we just want to fill for our teal color. And once we've got this all set up properly, we're gonna cut this out into its own separate component and have a lot of these variables as properties for the component. So it'll be configurable from wherever we're calling it. That's the plan, at least. So we don't have hex anymore. This is transparent now. We'll make a small one with XY from start point and size. Okay, cool. Right, so we save that. We've basically got... Why is it cut off now? What's causing that? Oh, okay. Because our width is 12.5 viewport width. Because this is 360. Right, if we do responsive and we do a 480, that's where our starting point is. That's not the case, is it? Where is our design here? This is 60 height, this is 90, well, it should be 90 width. So, 90 to 480. So we're probably looking at like 20, around that figure, aren't we? $96, a little bit too much. Maybe 19. Oh. Thought you could scroll on this. No. Doesn't know what you're doing here. 18.6. I mean, the easiest thing is just to find the actual value. 90 over 480. 18.75. Right, so that's now our correct dimensions. 60 we want to fix because that's going to be the nav height. And actually, we probably just want to fix this. I think regardless of the width of the mobile. After all that, we're just going to fix it at 90 pixels. And this is going to be 60 pixels. That's fine. Right, so now these are 90, 90, 30 by 60. Is that correct? That's not correct. Across the top, across there. This needs to be 45. And then 0.45 I think is fine. So this width is going to be 90 pixels. And then we just need to move our lines to be centered to that. What line width do we go with? 4. And really, I think this should be probably 35 or 40. What's 40 look like? 40's fine. This one. Right, so we're going to want our center is 45. And we're going 20 in both directions. So 25 up to 65. That's the same with all of these, 25 and 25. Right, let's copy these across as well. Right, we're now going with a 90 pixel by 60 pixel area. I'm going to go 0 to 90, 90, 45, and that's fine. And then our lines are going to be 25 to 65. Yeah. And straight with 4 looks like. Right, we save that. Oh, where are we? That's getting closer. So now all we need to do is make sure that these two are the same width of 40. What's this frame? Put 10 pixels in between. And they're distributed to 50. So the center of this is going to be 25. So the first one should be at 15. 15, 25, 35, I think. Is what we should be looking at. So 15, 25, and 35. $15, $25. Oh, didn't mean that. And 35. We saved that. I think we're pretty close there. The only difference here is, at what point is this? If we did a new line, at this point across, where are we? Y37. So rather than this 45, we're actually a little bit higher up. Let's do 40 on these, and here. Okay, so I think we're actually quite close to what we did here. Where's that extra line that we just did? Just undo that one. Let's get rid of that. Apart from the color is, let's take this color again. Right, so if we look at our intended navbar and our actual, should be pretty much identical now. Which I think we are. So then on click, we're going to go to this with our SVG going down. So really what I want to do is behind our contact. Do we want it within the contact? We probably want it within the contact here. We don't want the lines. Let's just see initially what that looks like. And then again here, we probably want to target just this element and do a display grid. I feel like flex should be easier. If we gave this like a Z index of 3, no, we can't do that inside. Let's wrap contact in a span. So we can target it easier. I think position relative on this, and then both of these have like a position absolute. Yeah, that's going to be easier, isn't it? With display flex. I think that's how we're going to have to do it. And then align content, align items. Yeah, that's way easier. Now all we need to do is make sure that this is the same width. So this is... Do we have a width for these? Can I do width auto? Ah, no. Okay, let's just bring that across though. Where's our code? Here it is. So we want on our contacts a link. Do we have a style on this? We don't. So let's give this a class of let's give this class of contact. Maybe contact button. So our contact button is position, relative, and display flex. That's so I can type. And then I'm sure I can do... How is it doing CSS? I was using Scss in one of these. Let's see if I can add that back in again. Let me just see if I can find that project. It's not in Pico, it's not in blog. Is it in archive? '25th of no, that's ages ago. That's not it. Maybe it was our Fireship test project, which isn't here. Okay. Sure. Right, was I using... Yeah, Lang SCSS. So what did I have to do to set up Scss in Svelte? I'm sure it was in here, maybe? Adapt kit, no. Vite configuration? Yes, here we go. Oh, it's closed the other one, hasn't it? Didn't want that to happen. This project, let's open it up. Feels like my laptop slowed down for something. Why is it struggling with something here? I hope I haven't opened it like 60 times. I feel like I'm going to have to install a dependency as well, which hopefully we still got open this one yet. So in our Vite config file, we're going to add in CSS. Wow, it's really struggling with something. But I don't think it's going to let us just use that. I think we're going to have to install the dependency. Which, if we look at our package.json, does it have it? Dev dependency Scss, yeah. Which I assume is not going to be in this one's. Yeah, okay, so yeah, what's causing all this slowdown? Let's just have a quick look on our task manager. 1 second. What's killing my laptop at the moment? System interrupts. Why are we getting system interrupts? Is it calming down? Sorry about this. 1 second. VS Code has got 30 things running. We've only got 2 instances of it. It does feel like it's sped up again. Yeah, I don't know what caused that. Maybe just clicking to open too many things at the same time. But it didn't feel like there was a lot. Okay, so npm install SCSS as a dev dependency. I feel like that's how you do it. Might be wrong there. Right, now if we go back to our package.json. Yep, there we go. That's good. And now if we go back into our mobile nav component, we should, hopefully, you have to tell the compiler that this is SCSS. And then within our contacts, we want this. No, like this. And I've forgotten what we're even doing in here. We want position absolute. Absolute. There we go. Is it going to let us do that? What we got erroring? We've got an error somewhere. Doesn't like this. That's what we did. Maybe we ought to close and reopen it. So let's close down that and close this. Because it's definitely struggling with that. You never used Scss. It is pretty much just so that whenever you're nesting things, you don't have to worry too much. So if I want to target things that are inside of contact, you can like nest CSS selectors within the other selectors, which can sometimes be useful. That's the main the main draw of it. I mean, really with SvelteKit, because most of the components aren't really going to be too many different elements in the component. Once we take all of this off and put it in its own separate hamburger component, it's going to be unnecessary. But it is just a little nice to have that makes writing CSS a bit nicer. And because Svelte does all of the compilation for you, you might as well take all of the niceties you can get in the dev experience, because none of it is going to be transferred up to your server or your client. So you're normally all right. Don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. The only downside would be potentially you get a slower dev experience if it takes a little bit longer to compile. But because most of the time it's pretty rapid anyway, I don't really find that an issue. But I guess if you added like 70 dev dependencies, then you might start getting slightly longer build times and that kind of stuff. But what are we doing next? We need to restart the server. And it still doesn't like this. Pre-processed dependency. Oh, because we didn't save. Do we not save this? It's very simple. Yeah, it's normally a good idea to keep to more simple stuff. Yeah, it's not liking this. Why? We have installed it. What's it saying? Oh, I don't know why it's doing this. Let's stop doing this. That's not found. Yeah, I've done this though. Oh, add. It's not install. That's probably why. What did I get in Vite? So in this Vite configuration, this is where you can tell part of the bundling that for CSS files, run it through this preprocessor first. And we're saying use Scss. But because I haven't actually installed it properly here, let's close our library. Yeah, that is because I've not installed the project properly. I keep on forgetting that PNPN uses add rather than install. CSS. Yeah, it's basically saying the same thing. It's not finding Scss. Oh, wait. No. Because this is meant to be... Oh, it is SCSS. Did I install Scss rather than... I might have installed the wrong thing. No, it still says SCSS here. I'm confused about that. Maybe the package is called Scss, not SCSS. Although, has that run? No. Okay, let's try it with Scss. Yeah, okay, so what have I installed by accident then? npm css versus Scss. I think I've got the wrong package. Right, so what's SCSS then? That was published 12 years ago. This is definitely not what I wanted to install. Yeah, this is the active one. So, pm remove. Okay, let's do that. Pm remove Scss. Okay. Slight detour there. But I think we've now got it. Should be up and running. Yeah, we've got to run our server first. Right, this should work this time though. Right, this is going to reload. No, it still doesn't like it. So what have I done wrong here? I bet we've got somewhere else that we ought to implement it. I'm sure we've got it working on this one. This was the Fireship SvelteKit tutorial. which I think because you have to pay for it, I can't really show too much of. We've got Scss there. We don't want to use Tailwind, so we don't care about that. Our Svelte config doesn't have anything different in. And in our Vite config, we're telling it to use SCSS. Is there anywhere else where we might have to do... Or you might have to set it? I don't think so. So in our page, let's go for this one, because I think this one has it. Yeah. Lang equals SCSS, and that just works. So this page that we're using here, lang equals SCSS. And in our Vite config, we've got the same preprocessor option, SCSS. And in our package JSON, we've got a dependency there in the dev dependencies. So what else are we doing wrong? Let's just have a look at how we do it, rather than guessing through how we copied it last time. SvelteKit, SCSS, setup. For now, you're going to stick with normal CSS. Yeah, this is definitely not worth the hassle that is that we're getting here. But yeah, we've done that. Oh, they're adding it in there. Yeah, they're adding it in the Svelte config file, which I guess we can do. This one. Do you have to import anything? No. So not in the Vite config. We can probably take this all out. So we save this and we save this. Now the server's restarted. No, it still doesn't like it. They use Scss and dependencies SCSS. If you go back to the other page, which... Oh, yeah. See, they're saying that, but they're typing differently. Because Scss and SCSS are two slightly different things. So I'm wanting to use the SCSS version. Let's have a look at the docs. Vite preprocess. Okay, we're not needing to do this because TypeScript's in here. Apparently. Okay. I mean, we can try it. Let's do... We go to the mobile view and try Scss rather than SCSS and see how that works. I feel like it's not recognizing that. Oh, it's loading. I think I'm going to take your follow your lead and just say, let's get rid of this and just do plain CSS. This isn't worth the hassle. Let's save this. Let's save this. And let's do... we'll close the server. PM, remove this CSS. Let's go back to what we understand. Right, now we should be able to run the server. And all we need to do is change this. I'm going to put it here and we're going to do dot contacts, everything inside of dot contact. It's only 2 elements, so that's fine. Right. So after that massive diversion, we should be back to where we were about 15 minutes ago. Right, and then we were doing yeah, all that. Right, on this flex, we want to justify center, align items, probably base, no? I love these flexbox stuff. Wait, what do we want? We want row. The inspector tools for flexbox on, I know Chrome does this, I know Firefox does this, but wherever you've got a display flex, you can just click on this icon next to it, and it allows you to set most of the standard flex stuff. And it's just so easy to get your head around the different options here, because really just remembering which one is justify, which one's align, and which one's items and which one's content. There is a justify item or justify items as well, but no, just it should just be there in your dev tools. Wherever you got display flex, you get this little box pop up, and it allows you to open up the editor. I think the same works with grid. So we're opening it up. Yeah, we got the same options. Well, slightly different options because grid obviously has a different setup. But most of the time when I'm doing CSS, I tend to just do a lot of it in the inspector, because what I might find out is I actually don't need like position relative in this case. Because if I turn it off and see that nothing changes in our view, then maybe it's not doing anything. And I try and like test it out this way, because it's very easy to end up with like a CSS file that has loads of extra rules, and you're like, well, I typed this in and I did set it up like this, but does it need this rule? And I find it helps me to simplify my CSS. And also the process of like testing out things is a lot easier in here. As long as you don't refresh the page, because then you lose everything. So that's the only issue. Which isn't actually as much of a problem for SvelteKit sites. You're unsure about the difference between the browsers. Most of the time, your CSS should be fine. If you're worried about reset the settings before I start. Oh, as in what the browser's default styling does. So if you have a look at like this user agent style sheet stuff. Yeah, so most of the time you can just search for something like a CSS reset 2023. And probably you just want to look for some useful CSS reset sheet. I mean, the only difference is with Svelte is you just have to set up a global app CSS file. So directly in your source folder, SRC folder, you have an app CSS next to your app HTML, and then you set all your stylings in here. So I've used Andy Bell's one from ages ago. I haven't actually checked if it's still valid, but I put all of my app CSS in here, and then yeah, you're right. In your main layout page, I just import CSS there. You could, yeah, you're right. You could just put it in a style here, but I think it's easier for things that I know is going to apply to everything to have them separate in this source folder. It just makes it easier for me, but it makes no difference. That could just be sat in this layout here in the style sheet. But yes, it's normally just easier because in here I'm also going to have in my root. This is where I'm going to set up all the CSS variables. So let's say I wanted to do like a primary color. It always pains me to the right without the U, but it's fine. So what was it? It's like 7 3C. Right, let me look it up. This flat 73CA9A. We're just going to copy and paste it. Right, so that's going to be our primary color. And what I normally like to do is swap it over to the HSL format. British difficult with programming. Yeah, I think the only main one is color. Most other things it tends to be all right with. But yeah, now that we've got this primary color, when we do, actually, as long as I save it, then we can go back to, where's our mobile nav? Here. And are we using this fill? I think we can do it here as like a var primary color. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure if that's going to work here because it's inside the SVG. Might have worked. So if we just temporarily change this to like gray and save it. I'm not sure that did. Oh, we didn't save our mobile nav, that's fine. Or we did? Yeah, it's for CSS. Oh, because it's in this one. There we go. So if we put it in our closed one here as well, then we get that color there as well. And if we default it back to our primary color, which we're going to have as our main brand color in this site, so we might as well use it there. Yeah, because basically what we're saying in this CSS selector is in the root of all the CSS, we want to set up these variable names, and the same with like the font families. So these styles, anything in root applies to all CSS across all of your, well, at least this is my understanding of it, applies to all CSS in all files, which is very useful for setting like default colors. And the benefit of doing something like this is you can then have like a like primary, let's do like primary dark or primary color dark. I hate when it moves it around. And then we could, I think in HSL, you just set the other values, right? So we can keep the hue the same. Actually, I'd rather keep the saturation the same as well. But then we can drop the light level. So if we just manipulate this this third value here, we can have like a dark and a light version of the color. Pop this up to like 80, let's say. And yeah, that's it, luminance, that's it. And then I think we can do something along the lines of setting this as a variable somewhere. Oh, he did a lot of photo editing, nice. So I wonder if, like, if I did primary hue of 147. Oh. I wonder if I can do something like this. Primary hue. And save that. Does that compile? Who knows? Let's see if we do this now as primary color dark. So that's working there. Let's change that color. But now if we fancied like a complete change of branding and we set this to like 180, I don't know what color that's going to be. But yeah, so we've now swapped on our color wheel. I mean, the annoying thing about this is you can't see what color it is in here. Sometimes you get the little box that figures it out. But you could always do something like have HSL here of just like a 50-50. So then you can get a rough idea what this number's going to be. But let's say we set it down to 30. And we put that in there. So we should see everything changing to like an orangey color. But it hasn't. Why is it not? What's this code file? Oh, cool. Hexagon relative with size and XY for top point. So you set this up as a svelte component. Where at the moment, yeah, you've got the size. This is calculated automatically. Nice. So if you did export on this, you could use it as a component and then pass in the values. Nice. Okay, so this is the Y coordinate here. This is the initial point, and you're then calculating based on the size. Nice, yeah. Hey X3, how's it going? Welcome in. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. Did you know that GPUs can't render squares unless they're made out of 2 triangles? I think I have a vague understanding of that. Because that's why everything in in game engines, they're all that kind of they're all based on the amount of polygons, which are all triangles, right? Yeah, Night Rinks, thanks for dropping in. Sorry, delving into code quite a bit again, but hope it's interesting. But yeah, thanks for dropping by. Hope you have a good sleep. You're here for the voice, aren't you? Right, so do we want to bring this in? Yeah, that's going to be quite useful actually. So what I was going to start doing in our library here is do a new folder of like util components. Actually, I'm just going to call it util. So actually, I prefer utility. Prefer typing things out a bit more. And in here, we're going to do a new file, which is hexagon.svelte. And I hope you don't mind, but we're going to nick your code. And then on here, we're going to do export our size. And also export fill. No. Oh yeah, we need to use lang TypeScript. Number. Export fill. What are we going to call? What type is fill? Is it a string? I suppose it's a string, isn't it? And then this is going to be fill. Oh yeah, we could do triplet. I think because we're going to be passing in the CSS variable, it's easier to just pass it in as a string in this situation. But yeah, it would do the same thing as the triplet. And then stroke. I'm going to pass that in there. Right, then on our nav page, let's just do an example here. So we did import hex. And then just as easily in our thing here, we could do a hexagon. So size 60. Size equals 60 pixels. Fill. Now the question is, can we pass in a CSS here like this? Primary color. Oh. See what that is. Oh wait, I need that as a string. Oh no, I just need 60. And actually not as a string. Let's just do that. Can I just do this? So that should... That should be working though. Like, what? How have we done it in here? Oh, rather than style, we can just do a fill parameter. It's slightly different. Where's our hex utility? So rather than like this, we're just saying like fill equals fill. Do I need that? Oh yeah, and then we can use shorthand. But why is that not? Let's close these, we don't need those anymore. So we got our points. That should work, right? Pill equals our primary color. That's the same as what we got up here. Oh, that's also not working, right? Size. Have I done something wrong here with how we're doing? I think you can. Let's go back to, actually it was 147, wasn't it? Was it 147? That looks about right for our colour. No, that's wrong. What was our colour here? Is this? Oh, because it's not 50-50, that's why. It is 147, but it wasn't the right hue and, sorry, the right saturation and light or luminance. So far I'm only using it within the style tags. Yeah, but it should still work the same, I think. Well, I'm not, that's not using it within... Oh, but this isn't working now, is it? I definitely had it working before like this. Right, which... Now the question is, which project was it where it was working like this? Let's do a new window. Yeah, it was very practical, but I can't remember how I did it. So, because I remember I was playing around with it for absolutely ages. One of these, I think it's probably in this. Now this is old code, so it might not be the same anymore. Right, okay, so fill here. Where are we setting the fill property? Yeah, this window is passing in as a string. Where are we calling logo SVG? Let's search for that. I'm sure it had this working before, but I might not have. You might be right, I might have done it differently. Ah, here we go. Okay, so we're saying theme is a writable store with a string content, that we're setting the string to var dark color. And where was that in the header? From lib stores. We're exporting SVG color from our store. And then this passes it into our logo SVG. Fill. You can use it in script tags. So in script you put it in the store from the CSS. Not entirely sure I get that. But what we're saying here is we could say let fill equal var because I think that's what we're doing here. And then we just do fill here. Yeah, that's the same. That's the same thing. Fill equals fill is the long way to type it. But if you save it, it will automatically correct it for you. Yep. So why was this working before but not here? Close that one, we don't need that anymore. Is it because it's a store? Well, what we can do... see what it comes out as here. Oh, we were even using a gradient here as well. But if we're in this mode, this isn't a gradient. This is... yeah, our fill here is the dark color, which is correctly putting that value in. So what are we doing differently here? Sorry, that might be quite small on the screen. But this is the code for this site. It was just like a holding page that we were doing at the time. And this, their logo, is done as this SVG element. Which is this logo SVG. And we're passing in fill as a string. What are we doing different in our hexagon? So just that it needs a default value. That shouldn't matter. And then where we're using it, let's just see. Yeah, we're only using it where we're putting it in. I wonder if path has got a separate setup though. Let's just do a path element in here as well. Where's a simple one? Let's do that one. And how are we passing it in? That's the D attribute. So D equals this. And then fill is passed in. That would be... no, it's just fill here. Where's fill equals fill? In the header? Oh. I don't think that's any different. Just because it's coming in from SVG color. But where we've done it here, we haven't had to use that. That's in the SVG, isn't it? But that resolves it as this. Fill equals. Yeah, I think that would be strange, yeah. I agree that there's something weird. It feels like there's something weird happening here. Yeah. No, but that's how you fix. That's how you fix bugs like this. You just play around with it until something starts working, and then it's like, what did I do that made it work? I mean, already this is not liking this either. So why in our SVG list? Is there a simple one somewhere? No, they should all be fine. They should all be about the same. What's different? Within the path element, right, so it is a string. Okay. So we go back to our site. Where's this line? It should be in here. Oh. Oh my god. It's all a fault in our CSS. Because we're nesting, because we added this so we could see what it is. Visual. Oh my god. God, that's so annoying. It was working the whole time. The whole time it was working. It's just because we'd overwritten this as an HSL. Oh god. It's so annoying when stuff like that happens. But at least we're not going to make that mistake again. Right, so here we can take out all of this. Save this. And in our nav bar here, we can replace this with fill. And that still works fine. Yep. Ah, terrible. I mean, that's the fun and games of software development. Spent ages thinking that you're chasing the right thing and then realize it's because it's a completely different, very trivial issue. You can't nest SVGs inside SVGs, can you? Let's see if I can do that. Oh, it does. It lets us just do that. Huh, okay. But yeah, we're going to leave it just on the outside for the moment, because I think I actually have to wrap up pretty soon. What's the time? Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to leave it there. I was hoping to get a little bit further, but it's always the case. Some fun things to mess around with there. Right, okay. So let's stop our server. Let's add all these files. Git commit. What should we do today? We didn't really do a lot, but we were just messing around with SVGs, hexagons. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm intending to do. Well, I'm intending to at least continue with this series at the moment, where the aim is to build this entire site out in Svelte, and I'm going to stream all of it. So we've got the mobile designs here. So there's a few different bits and pieces and different components that we're going to need for all of this. And then we're going to have the main desktop version of the site here with the light mode, dark mode, all that kind of stuff. And maybe we'll get to a point where we look at forms. So replace this contact with an actual form to fill out, and that sends off an email and that kind of stuff. But I don't actually know how far along that kind of part of the process we're going to go. But yeah, I agree. There's not a lot of Svelte streaming going on, and I think it's very useful. I did all of this design. Thank you. Yeah, we've been playing around with this for a couple of months, so hopefully it's getting to a point where it'll look quite nice. It's all for one of my clients that's doing a home automation system here in the UK. And I've said they don't mind me streaming. It's taken a long time though. I think most of the time with design work, like if you give someone enough time, they'll get to a stage where it looks quite good. But most of the time, people don't have a lot of time to mess around and move things about. Like the amount of time it's taken me to get to this stage, I spent a lot of time on the design work. It's probably got some old versions up here somewhere, and all the stuff that we've tried and played around with. And slowly, it's worked its way across into slightly more coherent design, and hopefully it should be quite a nice end product. Your project's unpaid hobby projects, part of volunteer work. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, easier to nip with the worst results. Thank you. Oh, that's very kind. But yeah, hopefully we'll just continue on. I don't know how many streams it's going to take, but as and when I'm able to, I'll be adding in different bits. I mean, the client's going off and doing another pass over all the content, so some of the texts and stuff in this is going to change. So that's why I haven't really started filling out all of the individual sections. If you see in our build so far, we just got like the titles and stuff like that. And if we go to like the solutions page, oh, we've stopped the server, but it just has the headers of each section. So once they're settled on the content, then we'll start filling it in. But we'll probably start putting the background images in and trying to make these hexagons and all that kind of stuff. To start with, yes, but a similar kind of idea to put all of the content in a separate location, call on it, so that the client can then add and upgrade and update text as they want. But I've kind of got no idea how to do any of that, so that's going to be quite an interesting like side project. And really, my goals going forward is to do I do a bit of game development as well, and I'm trying to get more into that. So I don't know how far I'm going to push this project into functionality and features that I haven't offered so far to the client. Use sanity for your last project. Ooh, I might have to check that out. Let's add that to the list. What is like a headless CMS? Sanity. Composable content cloud. I might check that out, yeah. Yeah, because the thing is, most of the time, the content's not going to change that much for the sites I'm doing at the moment. But I would like to provide that functionality so that in the future, we can just say, well, I can just say to the clients, look, you're free to update the content as you want. But I'm not offering that at the moment because I don't know how much of it, how long that's going to take to do that. Public transport. Is this one of the sites you've made? Oh, why is that not opening? It is. Visual tourist guide. Let's bring it onto the main page. Oh, that's cool. And is this in Svelte as well? You had an external developer and designer on it. Ah, nice, yeah. React front end on Diffle, I see, yeah. I mean, to be honest, in terms of Svelte stuff, there's a couple of really decent libraries that you can try out that help with just styling stuff for you. So Skeleton is really good. Which is very easy just to like drop into your project, and it starts doing bits and pieces for you in terms of the styling. And also, if you want something that's similar to that, Pico CSS is very easy to drop in. Daisy UI, yep. Yeah, definitely. Shades. Oh, ShadCN? I've not... Have I heard of that? ShadCN. Oh, yeah, no, I have seen this. But my main issue with all of these is Tailwind. I'm not a massive fan of Tailwind. Just because I feel like when you've got Tailwind in your components, I just love that Svelte has this neatness where for most of it you can have like very clean HTML, and where you start having all the styling on it, just for me, I'd much rather have it in a separate style tag, and there's probably ways to do that as well, but that'll be something that I decide going forward. Also, welcome in, probably Embed. Thanks for the comments. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm trying to get a bit more back into streaming, although saying that, next week I'm away the whole week, and I think the week 2 weeks after that, the same again. So it's going to be on and off for a couple of months, but hopefully like mid-September onwards, I'm going to start with a proper schedule of streaming and get into it a bit more detail. And by then, my plan hopefully is to have most of these websites up and running, and to move on to doing some more game development stuff in Unity. So we're going to be looking at I've got a couple of ideas for some 2D pixel art type games, and that will be the main focus of the channel going forward. But I do want to have a SvelteKit template site under my belt, so that for any games that I want to promote and set up websites for, I can just quite easily spin up a separate website for it. So yeah, that's all the plans for the channel going forward. But yeah, I've got to dash off pretty soon now, so I'm going to wrap up the stream here. Cheers everyone for hanging out. Hope it's been a fun stream. Yeah, have a good evening everyone, and have a good rest of the week. I might try and do a stream tomorrow evening, a bit later than the start today. But I've got a night shift tonight, so it all depends on how I'm feeling tomorrow, what time I wake up. But Friday I'll definitely do one. So yeah, cheers everyone for hanging out. Yeah, I've got a link to Discord down below if you want to keep up to date. There's an automatic notification that goes off whenever I start streaming, but most of the rest of the Discord server is pretty empty at the moment, so there's not much going on there. But yeah, I hope it's been interesting, and thanks for watching everyone. Cheers, see ya.